One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo breaker!
When it comes to first-person shooters, there's plenty of classes a player can fall under. There's that guy who goes ham with a big-ass machine gun and kills everybody, or there's the guy who sits in a corner with a sniper rifle. But there's always one class that no one can get away from, the camper. And no two people embody this better than Torbjorn and Engineer. So let's figure out who would win in a fight to the death. Torbjorn. He's a hero in Overwatch. He's kind of like a dwarf, I think, but he'll say he's not. He was the designer of the Omnics that then caused the, Omnic crisis, and then he built a weapon to stop him. That's really all we have on him. Other than that, though, he's pretty much a badass. So he's actually 100% immune to fire, as he's able to literally drink molten metal. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But most of his power, like any good first-person shooter, comes from his weaponry. He has a forge hammer used to upgrade his turrets and bash people's faces in. A rivet gun that fires like huge spread shots or a single shot of molten metal chunks. He also has this backpack that processes scrap metal, and he can deploy his armor, and he can place a sentry turret that he can upgrade to a second level with his forge hammer. Now he also has one ultimate move, his ultimate ability being, Molten Core, where he basically is he overclocks himself and his turret. So as long as his turret's level 2, it'll reach a level 3, where it fires much faster and is much stronger, and Torbjorn himself gains a huge boost in health and strength and speed. He also looks like he's made of volcanic rock. Now, Torbjorn is incredibly strong. His weapons can penetrate armor like Reinhardt and even Winston's armor, and he can beat military-grade Omnics like Bastion into submission with nothing but his forge hammer. And he's also able to withstand Overwatch firearms, which is pretty damn good. He's also incredibly fast, as he's a highly trained member of Overwatch, and he can basically dodge most weapons in the Overwatch universe. He's able to withstand attacks from Overwatch and the firearms of other heroes, and he's comparable to other tank class heroes when he's in his Molten Core form. Now, he is incredibly smart. He's actually considered the best engineer in the entire world, as he created the Omnics and then created the weapon to destroy them, and he's considered the best engineer ever. But he does have his weaknesses. He's incredibly prideful, and his inventions at times can be a little fidgety at first, but he usually comes around to fixing them. And he's a little bit on the, racist side. He does not like Omnics. He has just a huge dislike for them. However, he has gotten over it for the most part, and that seems to be really his only weaknesses. So, he's in pretty good shape. 2 important notes I should make before I start with the engineer's review. 1, I'm not allowing respawns because it's unfair, and he's pretty much immortal if we allow that. And I will only be mentoring certain weapons, but he will have access to all of them. Okay? So now, let's just move right on. The engineer is one of the multiple mercenaries in the Team Fortress 2 game. Story-wise, I don't know much. I couldn't find very much of anything. So I guess let's just go right into his weapons. The engineer carries an assortment of guns, including shotguns like the Frontier Justice and the Panic Attack. He also carries the Short Circuit and a standard pistol, and even he also has a few other things, and he's able to access turrets using a certain weapon that I can't seem to find the name of anymore. He also carries the Gunslinger, a machete, and a frying pan, as well as his trusty wrench. He can create 3 types of towers: a sentry gun that fires like a machine gun, a teleporter, and a health dispenser. His sentry gun is strong enough to kill the heavy, and his shotguns are similar to the soldier, which could damage Demona, and his melee weapon can knock out the scout in a single shot. The engineer's sentry turret can track scout and even hit him. However, the engineer himself is only fast enough to fight the sniper. The engineer is also comparable to other mercenaries who could fight and survive attacks from Greyman, and the engineer is actually incredibly smart. He actually holds 11 PhDs. The engineer isn't perfect though. He isn't very skilled with guns, and in close combat he's kind of incompetent. However, he does rely mostly on his turrets, which is a bad thing. Although he can only build 1 sentry gun, 1 health dispenser, and 2 teleporters. So yeah, not to mention all of these come at the cost of his limited supply of metal, and his turrets actually use limited amounts of ammo. Once they're out, and he has to make a new one. Torbjorn is walking through Route 66 when a bullet flies past him and hits the ground. He looks up to see the engineer on top of a building and sitting on a lawn chair holding a handgun. Torbjorn runs to cover and starts to set up his turret. He fully builds his turret and looks up from his cover as the engineer's turret starts firing non-stop at him. Torbjorn quickly ducks under cover before he gets hit, and the sentry gun quickly runs out of bullets. The gunfire then stops and Torbjorn takes advantage as he runs up to the top of the building, but the engineer is able to grab a shotgun before he can do anything. Torbjorn then shoots the shotgun out of his hand and laughs. Torbjorn then throws an armor pack into the air and catches it, activating his armor. He fires his rivet gun, shooting through the engineer's arm. The engineer then pulls out his wrench and runs at Torbjorn, who blocks with his hammer. Torbjorn then kicks the engineer back, and then he falls onto his teleporter, sending him a few feet away. Torbjorn then puts up his turret, and who spots the engineer hiding with the Frontier Justice and his health dispenser and a sentry gun next to him. The Torbjorn turret starts shooting at the engineer, who takes cover behind a rock. Torbjorn hops down from the building and starts walking towards the engineer. The engineer's turrets start unloading into Torbjorn. Torbjorn then collapses from bullet wounds when all of a sudden, in a burst of flames, he stands back up and runs through the bullets and smashes his turret in with his hammer. He then destroys the rock the engineer is hiding behind, and Torbjorn pulls out his rivet gun and fires his gun, impaling the engineer. The engineer then fires his shotgun in desperation, but Torbjorn seems unaffected as he walks up and smashes the engineer's knee, causing him to collapse to the ground. Torbjorn raises his hammer and smashes the engineer's head, leaving nothing but a shattered skull and a bloody body. He then walks away to go meet up with Soldier 76. Here is Torbjorn, and oh my god, did an Overwatch character actually just win a match on my show? Well, Torbjorn held the advantage in every category. Not by an insane amount, but still, even the smallest amounts in each advantages aided him in his win. For example, Torbjorn could scale the Winston and the Omnix in durability and strength, which both clock in about large building level, whereas the engineer is only small building level with his heavy killing feats, but that's his turret. Him by himself, he's not all that powerful. Speed also goes to Torbjorn, who can outpace some of Overwatch's faster heroes and even the Omnix, whereas the engineer himself isn't very quick. However, his turret can tag the scout, but Torbjorn is technically speaking faster than scout. Now intelligence is a tie, as the engineer is has a more versatile and larger arsenal. He's not very good at using it, but he does have 11 PhDs, which does kind of allow him to compete with Torbjorn's smartest engineer in the world title. But what really puts the Rivet engineer's coffin is, his need for metal to produce any of his turrets or teleporters or anything. And that takes a while for him to put up his turrets, and they have limited bullets, and they cost a lot of metal, and it takes him a while to get the metal. Whereas Torbjorn's turrets have absolutely unlimited ammo, and he has armor he can throw into the air, and that's the only thing that takes metal for him. And his Molten Core pretty much makes him comparable to any tank in the game, and Engineer just can't compete with that. Looks like he couldn't engineer a plan to win. Our winner is Torbjorn. Next time on Combo Breaker, Rocket Raccoon versus Star Fox. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and put in the comments what you think of the next match, who you think will win, why, anything you got. I'd love to see what you guys put.